Hello, everyone. What an exciting 3 weeks of reInvent. Welcome. I'm Dennis. My name is Dennis Traub. I'm a developer advocate with Amazon Web Services, based out of Germany. And right now, I have two guests in the show: Jennifer Code, who's a principal technical product manager, and Benjamin Andrew, a principal TPM with AWS as well. Jennifer, why don't you introduce yourself real quick?
Great, thanks, Dennis. I'm Jennifer Code. I am part of the financial services practice, and I focus all of my time on cloud governance and helping customers govern and manage their AWS environment. I've been with AWS about a year and a half now.
Okay. Benjamin, what about you?
Yeah, hi Dennis. Thanks for joining. Thanks for having us on. Benjamin Andrew. I'm in the AWS engineering, focusing on governance for our customers. I've been with AWS a little over 5 years, and just enjoy helping customers simplify their journey to at scale management and governance.
Yeah, I see. Interesting. You brought us at this time we don't have a service or a feature. We have something completely different that you brought. What are we talking about today?
So today we're talking about an extension to the AWS Well-Architected program and the framework. And really the idea is to provide frameworks that help customers figure out how to implement scale management and governance, leveraging third-party alongside AWS native services.
What do you mean by management and governance? I mean, these terms are, I think, we have many terms in IT which are really overloaded. What exactly do we mean when we talk about management and governance?
Yeah, it's such a good call out that these terms sometimes they're used interchangeably, sometimes they're used just wrong. So the way that we think of management and governance is governance. Let me start with governance. Governance is really focused on the what. So defining your cloud strategy, and then from there, how decisions are made, by whom, and then who's accountable for those resulting decisions. So that's really kind of setting the stage for what your cloud journey will look like. And then the ongoing oversight, and make sure that you're living up to the commitments you might have made to your board, as well as living within your risk appetite. Where management, on the other hand, is the how. So taking those decisions made by governance and then executing against them, putting the staff in place, getting the processes, getting the tooling, and really kind of managing that day-to-day operations. And it's important to have two, because obviously one is designing your strategy and then the other is executing against it, and then they kind of keep each other in check.
Yeah, sounds pretty abstract. Do you have any specific example, maybe from the financial services industry, where what this looks like in practice?
Yeah. So honestly, it can be as simple as your governance can start with having a cloud policy. So it can make the decision of what are the types of workloads that I'm going to move to the cloud? What is my risk appetite when I'm moving those workloads, so that I can start really getting comfortable with those? So that's on the governance side. On the management side, that is implementing the tooling. So making sure having my leveraging AWS services for some of the automated deployment or environment build. So then translating those expectations and requirements into action, and then the ongoing oversight as well. So yeah, I mean, it can be our AWS services, or as Benjamin highlighted, our partner services, who play a very big part in the management and governance.
So for me as a developer, like infrastructure as code, for instance, is one of the things that we work with a lot, using AWS Cloud Formation, for instance, or the Cloud Development Kit. That is something that falls into the category of management governance, right?
Exactly right. Yes, perfect. And that's a great example. And a great example as well of how we want to start having the conversation, because sure, you can manually build all your environments, but you automate it. Then you can start going, I'm going to get more consistency. I'm going to get speed. I'm going to get some protection, so that I can make it easier for my developer team to take advantage of the environment. So yeah, that's a perfect example.
Yeah, I think it all plays pretty well with the overall well-architected framework, because just to remind you, or the viewers who are not very familiar with it, the well-architected framework is is a way that helps us look at workloads in the cloud and helps our customers look at workloads in the cloud alongside of a number of pillars. It's 5 pillars. It starts with security, of course, then we have reliability, we have operational excellence, performance, but also, of course, cost efficiency. And all these 5 things are topics, are pillars that have to be managed. And the larger the workload, the more you need governance around each of these to make sure that everything is in place. And using the well-architected tool or the well-architected framework could actually be something that is part of a defined process. And maybe Benjamin, why don't you talk a little bit about the well-architected lens for management and governance? So how can a solutions architect or an engineer use this lens to describe or assess their workloads?
Sure. So as the well-architected framework gives guidance of important things to consider and processes and ways to build workloads that leverage best practices from thousands of migrations and guidance from AWS. What the well-architected lens does is it goes one step further and it actually provides prescriptive guidance of how to implement these things.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of the questions that customers ask when they are either in the middle of a migration or they're preparing for a migration or moving applications or building new applications in the cloud, they may ask questions like, do I need to move all the existing third-party software that I'm using, or can I keep using some of them? And a lot of customers ask the question, what are other customers doing for incident response or for change management or for identity and access management? And what third-party tools are they still using? And so they're already faced with a lot of decisions. So the intent here is to simplify that process of making decisions so that we provide guidance to the vendors, the ISV partners that we work with. We provide guidance to them to say, hey, to help your customer make this journey easier, let's put automation, let's put integration into key AWS services right into your tool so that, first of all, the customer doesn't have to do these integrations themselves, such as centralized logging with CloudTrail or set of alarms that they're automatic with CloudWatch. These are built in. The third-party vendors are doing these integrations into services like Control Tower and organizations and supporting multi-account deployments so that the customer, we then expose this information to the customer to help them understand which services, which partners are integrated to which services so that they know, hey, this partner that I'm already using, I can continue to use them as I make my journey into the cloud. Or they may ask the question, hey, I want to use AWS native services such as AWS Security Hub to see all the different AWS native security services such as GuardDuty and Macie and Inspector and Detective. And I want to see those all for all of my AWS accounts, but I also want to incorporate that into a full SIEM. And I want to leverage, say I'm using Splunk on-premise or I'm using Sumo Logic, and I want to continue to do that, but now I want to have full visibility of my environment in AWS as well as on-premise. So how do these services integrate into these existing capabilities that I'm already using on-premise? How do I work? How do these work together as I move into the cloud? And the lens is really there to provide a repeatability around this. So instead of every customer coming and trying to figure out from all the different available ways to implement incident response or change management, we're saying, hey, we're gathering all the information from successful migrations, and we're pulling this into repeatable patterns so that you don't have to ask the question, hey, out of 20, 30 different ways to do this, which way should I do it? We're saying, here's a couple of prescriptive ways that we see a lot of customers using it so that you can focus on innovation and building and migrating applications and spend less of your time on trying to identify which services to use to accomplish these core use cases.
Yeah, right. And I'm sorry, Jennifer, did you want to
Yeah,
add something?
I was going to build on that. So one of the biggest challenges that we have, and I help customers through in these complex environments, is particularly with lots of tools, is being able to answer the question of how do I know I can see it all? And that's where the assessment piece comes in that we're going to help build into the well-architected lens. So there's one of give me some prescriptive guidance so that I can know whether the solution that I'm using in my on-premises environment can also be extended, but then help make sure that I haven't missed anything. So if I am pulling my logs in and centralizing them, sending them to Splunk, can I confidently say, yes, I have it all? So getting that completeness and integrity is one of the biggest challenges that I help customers through. They know what they know, but can they confidently say they know everything? And that's going to be a big element of the assessment.
Yeah, that certainly is an issue. And even Werner Vogels talked about this in his keynote today, where he talked about how can I make sure uh, that I'm not missing anything.
Yeah,
And specifically in regulated industries, but pretty much everywhere,
everywhere.
it's really important to understand the complexity of your application, to understand how everything plays together. And I've been working as a solutions architect in the past, and I did my fair share of well-architected reviews with customers. And I always liked how the framework and the lenses help me ask the right questions and help the customer, because it's not about me asking the customer questions. They don't have to answer to me, but the framework really helps me as a customer, as an AWS user, to ask the right questions. And some of them may be simple and may be easy to answer, but some of them may really be, oh, I didn't think about that. And that is really valuable and can help you. Maybe some of the questions don't make sense in your specific case, but on the other hand, you can really lean on the experience with hundreds of thousands of customers that have been building applications on AWS and have been building large complex workloads on AWS. And over the many years, we've figured out there are certain ways. Certainly, there are no best practices for every case, but there are certain principles and there's a certain amount of guidance where you can say, okay, that should be something that you should think about. The answer that you come up with, that is up to
Yeah.
you, and that is quite different, I guess, from a healthcare provider or a financial
Hmm.
services company, as opposed to maybe I don't know. I like to play computer games, a game tech
Yeah.
a game tech
Sure.
company,
Hmm.
but eventually, I think it's really helpful to have something that helps me go through a few steps, and I don't have to remember everything. And in the end, I have the feeling like I'm not sure. Did I really go through everything? And having that feeling, Peter DeSantis in his keynote last week talked about his on this graph where he showed the quality of his sleep depends on certain things. I think for us, if we run workloads,
Hmm.
it really is. The more I have the feeling that I have it all covered, the more the better I can sleep, right? And
Sure.
especially CISOs and other people who are involved in security or governance or management, um, know what I'm talking talking about. Benjamin, we do have a number. I have something that like to pull that up on screen real quick, where maybe we can go through just a few things. What is it that AWS Well Architect Management and Governance Lens helps you with, and maybe also after that a few use cases, and also
Sure.
how partner applications can be integrated into the whole thing, so to say.
Awesome. So what we've actually announced last week in this reInvent session, we've announced a preview for the well-architected management and governance lens, and we'll be providing you a link to the well-architected site. And if you look at the top section, there's a paragraph just above the pillars that talks about this new lens, and there's a link to the docs page where you can see several different use cases and existing capabilities that we've pulled together. There's been a lot of work done by partners of AWS over the last 6 months to integrate with Control Tower and organizations and provide support for you as you're leveraging third-party software in an environment with multi-AWS accounts. So there's a lot of work that's been done there. There's also been a lot of work done in the integration with AWS SSO and the identity space. So what we're actually providing in the preview is existing resources that we've been pulling together throughout the year. And then the plan is for us to work with a set of customers from 5 verticals to pull together learnings and to write capabilities and guidance around financial services, healthcare, public sector, oil and gas, and retail. And we're really focusing on these customers to ensure that we have complete comprehensive coverage and visibility. And we're looking at resources, data, and applications. We're actually excited as well to introduce application support and application management and governance this year. There's a couple of new releases that are coming out of Service Catalog in the form of a tool called App Registry, and in Systems Manager and the tool known as Application Manager. And this capability allows customers to have full visibility of the application as a new entity in their environment, instead of just seeing usage of resources, infrastructure, and data, that they can now identify an application. So this is a new addition to AWS Management and Governance Services that helps with providing this visibility at scale. So we'll be pulling that new application view into our framework. And really the capabilities that we're going to be providing as we finalize this content will be very specific to the use case. What is the use case that you're trying to accomplish in management and governance? We'll go through a few here in a minute. And the questions of what are the governance concerns? What are the questions that you should be asking?
I'm sorry to interrupt, Benjamin. We seem
Sure.
to have some audio issues. I'm not sure. Sometimes sounds a little bit off. It appears when you speak. Anyway, I didn't want to interrupt. As you spoke about the system AWS Systems Manager, Application Manager, I actually have an interview with that team on Thursday.
Awesome.
Where we will also have a demo of that. So that is, I'm really looking forward to that.
Yeah, so one other piece I want to highlight here, and Benjamin did a great job of highlighting both the AWS native services that we're emphasizing in the scenarios, but I also, the one really important element of management and governance is the people process side. And in fact, a lot of the complexity in doing this well is on the people process side. So when we have the prescriptive guidance and where we're talking about the best practices, and Dennis, I love that you were saying, like, there's lots of different practices. And, I typically say that, there may be multiple best practices, but what you want to avoid is the bad practice. So, there's not one right answer, but there's most certainly a wrong answer. And so that's what we really want to help our customers with, so that, we'll give, we'll provide assessment processes that allows them to compare feature functionality and other, as well as some of the organizational considerations. If some customers may opt to centralize a lot of the engineering and decision making, some may opt to federate, and both are totally possible. There's kind of different pros and cons and different ways of thinking about the talent allocation and who's doing what. So, those are the types of things that we'll want to have in there, a lot of which you already see in the existing well-architected, but sometimes have a unique flavor when you're talking management and governance, just because it goes outside of some of the personas that we're used to thinking about, including, compliance and risk and internal audit folks. So,
okay,
yeah.
That's great. So we're about to come to an end. My next question, which is I think really important for the customers, is so when is it going to be available, and what are the artifacts? So what will our customers be able to work with as part of this?
So we've actually launched already a preview, so we'll link to that, but the full capability is intended to be happening in the first half of 2021 as we continue the interviews with customers and pull together the content. And then what will be made available will be, first of all, in each use case, in each category. So for example, cost management, for example, service management or network management, inside of each of those categories will be specific use cases that the customer can choose from. And in there, we will show them the guidance of how to build following prescriptive guidance from the best practices and learnings that we've had. So that will include a checklist of steps to follow, as well as reference architectures of how to implement the guidance, and that will also include a deployment guide and specific JSON capability in the form of CloudFormation templates that will be available as well to help the customer to implement those things.
Okay, I see. And what is it? I mean, probably even more important for many of our customers. What's it gonna cost? So what does it cost anything? What's the price structure behind it?
No, actually, this is a free program, and it's really intended to simplify the customer's journey. So we're making this guidance available for free, no cost. That's our intent.
That's great news. Great news. I like to hear that. Okay, cool. Great. I think we're through so far. Is there anything at reInvent just that you saw that you really liked, apart from your own launch, of course? I mean, it's been an exciting year. It's everything is pretty different this year. But 3 weeks, we had so many announcements, so many sessions. Did you see anything interesting, Jennifer? What about you?
Yeah, I mean, I always, of course, love the keynotes because I'm always intrigued that someone can speak that long, that clearly, and be so informative and make me want to keep watching. But I will say, in terms of service launches, I was really pleased to see AWS Audit Manager, and I got involved with that service about a year ago now, when it was really just kind of an idea in someone's head, and it's been very fun to watch it through the journey, watching through all the way of what goes into an AWS service launch. So that one was exciting to me, just watching it from the beginning.
Oh, that's great. That's great. Andrew and Benjamin, I'm sorry.
Yeah, no problem. So for me, I'm excited because for the first time, we're actually addressing a set of personas that are more the operator. For years, we've talked about builders and engineers and developers. And with the management and governance track this year, between this capability, the Lens, as well as a number of different services, including App Manager and App Registry, there's a lot of now capability that's really designed, targeted for the operator and for the cloud architect. So more to come there, and I'm really excited to be a part of that.
Yeah, it's been great things like DevOps Guru, and just now in Werner's keynote, AWS Managed Grafana and Managed Prometheus have been announced. I will have both on the show as well this week. I will also have Torkel for an interview Torkel Odegaard, who's the original developer of Grafana, whom we have partnered with to set up the managed AWS managed service for Grafana. Anyway, I think we're through. Let me see. There's one. I wrote it down, and now my device is turned off. There's the next show after this one. It's going to talk. My colleagues are going to talk about. Let me see, the Fleet Hub for AWS IoT device management. Right after this one at past. Thank you for watching. Tune in again. Thank you, Jennifer and Benjamin. It was great having you on the show. I wish you a great some nice holidays after the reInvent.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Thanks for having us.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye now.